Hello everyone, I'm Jesus and welcome to the next episode of The Road to Old School MTG. In this video, I have for you round one of the Alpha Beta 40 World Championship of the Days Time Warp in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. I personally did not participate in this tournament because I can count on one hand, two hands max, the amount of Alpha and Beta cards that I own. So I just recorded some of the matches here. But there was also a live stream. So this event, as the name implies, Alpha Beta 40, only cards from Alpha and Beta were allowed. The rules, I'll go over the rules in a bit. But this is definitely a very important event, very historic. These cards, all black bordered, no proxies allowed, and people will have very beautiful collections here on display. So it was definitely something I wanted to capture. Here we go with the rules. So I'm not going to go through everything because, like I said, I did not participate, and I'll link the page to these rules, but some of the rules are 40 cards max, no more, no less, only cards from Alpha and Beta, no proxies allowed. Mulligans, either all lands hands or no land hands are allowed, and you can continuously keep on taking those mulligans as long as you continue to have all cards or no cards in your hand. The player who goes first draws, so everybody's always drawing on the first turn no matter what. Mana burn is still in effect. Tapped blockers deal no combat damage. So these are all rules from the time of the original printing of the game during the Alpha and Beta days. So that's why these rules are a bit different than your normal rules that we're used to nowadays. Chaos Orb. The effect is as printed, so whatever cards it lands on, and I do say cards, so more than one, they get destroyed. Once a Chaos Orb is on the stack, although there's no stack, whatever, then then the cards on the opposing player's playmat cannot be rearranged. They can still be tapped and untapped in place, but they're not supposed to move them around, right? Which is kind of hard to enforce because it's just it's been 30 years since people have been playing like that. So, and then just for fun, they add a stipulation that Volcanic Island is the only unrestricted dual land. So there are a lot of restrictions, not just the rules, but also what cards are available to be used and so forth. So as I mentioned, I'm not going to give a in-depth review here. This is just a quick summary. Protection, in case it comes into play. So the example given is here is Black Knight. The Wrath of God will not destroy the Black Knight, so protection truly meant protection. Balance will count it, but it wouldn't. You couldn't sacrifice it. And COP Black could not be used against it. So and then once again, cards are played as printed, similar to the Chaos Orb. This also counts in terms of the casting cost. For the casting cost, and here's the example: Orcish Artillery. There are two versions. In Alpha, the casting cost was 1 and a red. In Beta, it was 1 red. Depending on which version you play, whatever the casting cost says is what you're going to pay in terms of mana. Orcish Oriflame, similar. Alpha, it costs 1 and a red. Beta costs 3 and a red. So if you play an Alpha one, it'll cost you 2 mana only, right? So this is a quick review here. Now let's go into the deck text. So here we have Mono Green by Jason. So we have all forests, as I mentioned, all the cards are either Alpha or Beta. A whole bunch of elves. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elves. I think the max is 6 cards in terms of commons. I think uncommons 3, but like I said, don't call me on these rules. let's say we got Force of Nature is very nice. Giant spiders, grizzly bears, some giant growths, regeneration, lure. So lure is definitely something that can be nice because it allows your winnies to come through. You just put it on one of your winnies, but then all the other ones can still come through, right? So this deck is supposed to be very strong. Ooh, and I see a Soul Ring as well. No regrowth, no Chaos Orb though in this particular version. But of course, if you have a Chaos Orb, it's either alpha or beta, so I can imagine those are going to be few and far between. So a lot of ramp, progressively higher and higher casting code creatures, 2 Force of Natures to really finish off the games. And then with a nice lure to kind of sneak by and get that final win in, and then this to wipe the board. Now here we have mono blue. For this one, the opponent in mono blue is Adam. I did not have a deck pick, so I just recreated the deck and what I saw. So this is not the full 40 cards, this is just the cards that I noticed and that you will also notice during this particular game. I'm sure he had a few more power sinks and a few more counter spells. But here, just mono blue, initial first turns, just stall, counterspell things. But we do have here a Chaos Orb in this deck. Time Walk as well, so very hefty collection here, right? So it's really a nice sight to see these cards being played. Now we're gonna go into the games right now. All right, we got game 1, Jason on the left, Adam on the right. Remember, unless you have a hand of all lands or no lands, if you have cards and spells, you're keeping it. So, all right, so they're both, I see lands and spells on both sides, so they're keeping their hands. And remember, player 1 draws as well. So it seems like Adam is going first, but he didn't draw, so that's a mistake on his side. It's going to take a while. So yeah, he's drawing now because he forgot to. Jason's going, Forest, Elf, that's really your optimal play, turn 1. Adam, Island, passes, but he has 2 blue. Now you can power sync, you can counterspell. Oops. Jason showed a regrowth there. 3 mana. Alright, so an elf, and then attacks for 1. So Adam is at 19. So we have mono green versus mono blue. Mono green is doing his thing, keeping mana open in case of power sync, I think. That's what Jason was trying to do there. And then Adam's just dropping off an island and passing, but so far with just 2 elves, there's not much urgency. 4 mana, we're seeing a giant spider, right? So let's see if there's any response. I see a Modi on Adam's hand, which is quite a sight to see. A black border Modi. All right, so power sync for 2, so it couldn't be paid anyway. And then Jason comes in for 1, so Adam's at 18. But still only 2 elves. Adam's at 18, so there's no need to rush here. So if not needed, he will try to keep things mana open for counter spells. Since there's no removal, the only removal is countering the spell itself. Of course, as I said that, we see a beautiful black bordered Chaos Orb. Remember the rule. So now Jason's supposed to technically keep the cards in their place, right? But oop, there he goes. He brings up the elf up to the attacking area. So if there's any rules broken, it's not on purpose. It's just force of habit here. So it comes in for 2 attack, 16, but still Adam can take the damage. A new elf comes out. If you're noticing, both for Jason and Adam, they're kind of keeping their cards kind of spread out a bit. That's because to protect against Chaos Orb. Ooh, copy artifact and the Chaos Orb. So there's 2 Chaos Orbs now on Adam's side. All right. Ooh, Force of Nature, although Jason had another one, so he has 2 Force of Natures. He could cast it. Or do you just come in for 3? Yeah, he's coming in for 3, looks like. 4th, so he wants him to force to use Chaos Orb on a 1/1, right? As opposed to him using it on a Force of Nature. Alright, took 3 damage, 13. Okay, do you regrowth on the giant spider? And then seems like Adam is thinking. Okay, seems like it went through. Remember, all the cards here are alpha or beta, so this is a big reason why I wanted to record this, even though I did not participate myself. Just there's a lot of history here, and players have made a lot of effort to collect these cards. It's most of the time these kind of cards will be in a binder, in a folder, tucked away. They would not, other than maybe in an online tournament, seeing them in action in person was quite a sight to see. We have Jade Statue on mono blue. Okay, so yeah, Adam's still allowed to rearrange his things because a Chaos Orb hasn't come out from Jason's side. Okay, here we go. Taps 4 for a giant spider. So let's see what Adam does. Alright, so he goes through, plays another elf. Now with the Jade Statue, Jason can just come in and swing for an attack. And with 6 mana, and he still has both Chaos Orbs as well. So Adam is in a pretty decent spot here. Of course, he doesn't know that Jason has 2 Force of Natures in his hand. Okay, there we go. He's baiting him. So I believe that's what Jason was doing. He's trying to bait him to use a Chaos Orb. Here we go. Okay, so he didn't try to go for quantity. He wanted to make sure he was going to hit the
I've never seen the card just invert.
giant spider. So he just aimed just for that. So basically that was a regular Chaos Orb flip. Alright, so back to Adam, plays another island. And yeah, he has a Modi in his hand, right? But he wants to keep mana open for a counter spell or something. Okay, so another Jade Statue, so that's pretty decent. And he still has the original Chaos Orb out. Alright, now the forest. I got 2. Okay, see the 2 Force of Natures. I think, yeah, it's coming up. Oof. Okay, so now he's trying to go for the... Ooh, misses on the flip. So, ooh, that's pretty strong. A strong creature to hit. Basically, is Force of Nature the biggest creature in Alpha Beta? I think so, right? So it was really important for him to not miss, but it happens. Ooh, control magic. Okay, but remember, the Force of Nature does have that ability, that drawback that you have to pay 4 green mana every upkeep, or it does 8 damage back to you, right? So right now, Jason's still at 20 life. So Adam is the one that's low on life, so he'll come in for an attack, yeah, but first the damage will be done to him. If he still survives, then he can come in for an attack. So, ooh, and then of course Jason still had that second Force of Nature, and he can easily pay the 4 green mana. Okay, so now I think Adam is realizing the mistake there. So he took 8 damage just now.
Not the laugh. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
No, that's yeah.
He was at 13, so boom, he's at 5 now. So he can't even he won't even have a second turn with the Force of Nature to get in on the second attack. If he attacks, he can just, the Force of Natures can bounce off each other and trade. But Jason's still at 20 life, so he'll probably just take the full damage because he wants Adam to keep the Force of Nature, because he knows he won't be able to pay the green mana next turn. Alright, so Jason's at full 20, right? So Adam here's attacking with everything. 8, 11, even if he takes everything, that's 14. But he had to tap 4 mana for this. Of course, like maybe if he has a time walk, but even with a time walk, that's not gonna stop anything. Okay, so I think the Force of Nature and the elves block the Jade statues, and then Jason just takes the 8 from the Force of Nature. So here we're just taking a quick pick for Posterity. It's not every day you see this site here. A control magic Force of Nature. And an Alpha Beta 40 tournament. Alright, and that's it. Even with the damage going through, he's not gonna win it. Going on to game 2. Alright, game 2. There are no sideboards, right? So the lapse between games is actually extremely short. You just shuffle your deck and that's it. And then without sideboards, and with the mulligan rule, as long as you have some kind of lands and some kind of spells, you just gotta keep it, right? So games transition from one into the other very quickly in this format. Alright, so Jason goes first. Since he lost, he doesn't forget to draw a card this time. Island passes. Oh, did I say that was Adam? Jason right now. Forest and Pixie, 1/1 flyer. Oh no, Sprite, yeah, script Sprite. You will definitely see some cards that don't usually get much play in old school, Atlantic, and so forth. Comes in for an attack for 19. Comes in for another attack, so yeah, they're just dropping lands, and that's it. 18 for Adam. Oh, so after the attack, he's wanted to see if I think he prefers to hit a elf or something. But I used the Side Blast to get the Sprite, since the Sprite was continuously hitting him. Took a one-time hit for 2. But Adam is at 4 mana now, right? So, and he notices the giant spider, right? And then yep, there it is. If anything, oh no, but I spoke too soon. Actually, that was like because he knew he had counter spell to block, to counter anything that followed up after that Side Blast. So okay. We have another island, so 5 islands. That's pretty strong, so he can definitely start to cast things while maintaining mana. And whoa, Jason is mana flooded. It seems like maybe he has 1 card that's non-land, and then just drawing and going. That's playing into Adam's game plan. Of course, Jason's not doing it on purpose. Okay, there we go. A giant growth, but without a creature, doesn't do anything. I think his other card is either regeneration or the lure. Everything else is just cards in hand. lands in hand. All right. Adam has a second J statue, chooses not to attack, and prefers to drop the second statue, which I think is slick because then. Ooh, Force of Nature. That's a nice top deck. So I was mentioning that. Ooh, but counterspell. Whoa. Okay, so very solid. So I was mentioning that having 2 J statues is good because now he can come in for 6. There he goes. And he can just continue to counterspell anything that's bigger than the J statues. If he casts an elf, he'll probably let that through. Oh, and speaking of that, there's an elf getting cast. And let's see, I see a hurricane, but now Jason's lower than Adam. He could still cast it because I think he had 2 hurricanes in his deck. Alright, so another island. When are we gonna see a Modi? A black bordered Modi out in play. Jason has a nice hurricane for that, but he's getting hit every turn, so. Okay, ooh, he just takes in no blocks. I guess he's hoping for to get that regeneration. That'll be very helpful. Ooh, time walk, holy smokes. Wow. Jason's at 8, he'll come in for 6, he'll be at 2, assuming no blocks, and yeah, I guess no blocks. And then Side Blast finishes off the game. Wow. But yeah, brutal land lock on Jason going into game 3 here. So it's 1-1 each. Something that we were commenting on during the tournament was that there was a theme going on that whoever won first, usually very a high ratio of you go first, you win the game. So now Jason's going first. Let's see if in this game that holds true. Forest Elf, Island, Forest, attacks for 1. So that turn 1 Elf is the play to make for Mono Green. Okay, so now we have more of a balance. Let's see a second Elf, 4 mana. Okay, trying to bait the counterspell or just to test if he has one at all. Ooh, lets it through. If he has a Side Blast, that may be the reason why. 4. Okay, so he cannot cast the. Okay, he's casted 5 mana. Ooh, Cockatrice if I'm not mistaken, right? 2/4 flyer. It has Death Touch, right? If I remember correctly. Once again, these are some of the cards that you don't see. Giant Spider, you don't see hardly at all in old school nowadays. Even though it's a perfectly fine card, but yeah, it's just nuts compared to all the other creatures you could get. It just doesn't get play. So a Side Blast end of turn, but he Side Blasted the Giant Spider. Ooh, because he wanted to keep the Cockatrice for himself. So nice, but he tapped out. So let's see. So I didn't notice any tranquilities and such in Jason's deck. Yep, nice. Hurricane for 4. Then it's gonna come in for another attack from that lone elf. Yep, there we go. So 1 extra damage. Alright, so yeah, that's a good way to counter that. So Adam's at 12, I believe. Jason's at 16 because he just took 4 from his own Hurricane. So right now, looking decent for Jason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. So you're at the 6 mana mark where you could cast the big boys. So just a sprite. But I don't see. I see regeneration, definitely an elf. So each time he's casting, seeing the reaction from Adam. Those 1/1s are a hard decision to make, right? Do you spend a power sink to counter spell on these guys? If not, they'll ping you for one, especially if there's multiple right now. He has 3 guys out. Comes in for 1. And then puts a regeneration shield on the sprite. Nice. Of course, since Jason's playing blue, you could see those blue creatures. Oh, alright, so that's pretty telling. He countered the regen, but not the sprite itself. Alright, so I don't know if he attacked for 1 with the other elf, or if that was for mana. Let's see. Alright, Brain Geyser for 3. So this is now when you can tell Mono Blue is being desperate when they tap themselves out in order to draw. But it's just taking 3, right? So if there was ever a time, this is not so bad. Man, if Jason had that Force of Nature. Because Adam cannot control magic it, because he's too low on life. Alright, Jade Statue. So yeah, he did take the 1 damage from the elf, and then now 3, so Adam's at 8. Alright, so these statues out, he can block one of these, well, one of the elves. And it will take 2, dropping to 6. Okay, and he has to activate it so that he'll keep himself unavailable to counterspell. But there was nothing to follow up from Jason. Oh man. Now Forces of Nature would be huge. Okay, 4 mana, what? Another. Okay, I do see that Modi. He had it in another game as well. Never cast it. Okay, control magic. The sprites, but it's untapped the first time. Okay, did he play a land? He needs that 2nd mana to. Oh, no, he doesn't. You just time walk and get your full untap. Okay, but he's gonna keep that. Most likely gonna keep that little dude just as a blocker. He's at 6. Jason's at 16. The only damage he took was from his own Hurricane. Okay, so Adam's casting a 2nd Jade Statue. So he drew quite a bit, but I guess he didn't get more mana. I think he's trying to get that 8th island out. And then Jason just plays an elf. That's not gonna cut it. So Adam has stabilized. And oof, and now he has mana open as well. So he could cast that Modi. We're gonna see it. Black border Modi with 2 mana open. 4, 5. Oof. What did I say about just the historic nature of what we're seeing here? Remember, there's no proxies here. All of these cards are alpha or beta. So seeing an alpha or beta Modi, and not just seeing it, but now seeing it in action is. I have not seen that in person. At least I don't remember if I did. If I did, it would have been very something that happened not too often. Alright, so activating both and attacking. Okay, so whoa, that's pretty aggressive. So 5, 8, 11. So drops Jason down to 5. He has still mana open for counter spells, and he has a sprite there, but Just lands. Yeah,
He
easy.
lands this one.
Okay, yeah. Nice job. Wow, that was. Jason had him on the ropes there. But congratulations to Adam for taking it 2-1. So this was round 1 of the Alpha Beta tournament held at Dave's Time Warp in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. Very awesome and historic event. Thanks to Nick for hosting the event. Well, Time Warp for hosting the event, for Nick for organizing it, doing everything that he needed to do to get the word out. We did have, I believe, 38 players, which is quite a big amount considering you're only allowed to use alpha beta cards, right? And we didn't have such a big lead up time in terms of advertising the tournament to when the tournament actually happened, only a couple months. But we had pretty much a full house at Time Warp, which I was skeptical of, but I'm glad to be proven wrong. This tournament was awesome, and this is just the beginning. We'll have the following rounds as well. There was also a live stream of the event, so I'll put a link to that as well. And thank you guys for watching.